It's 5 o'clock in Pirate Country, and it's time to get pumped up with the P-Man. Hit the door and hit the road. 94.3 The Game is going to get you home, and the P-Man's not holding back.
Yes! Yes! Pirates win! Pirates win!
Bring on the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Holy mackerel! Oh, my goodness!
The flagship station of the ECU Pirates.
I guess I didn't realize how many broadcast operations have actually taken today off.
For President's Day?
For President's Day. I should start taking stuff off.
No, the people don't want that, Patrick.
Oh, no, some people do want it. We have hate listeners and hate watchers of the old P-Man.
I think I think there's only one hate person of the P-Man, and you have to deal with him every morning.
Who, Buscemi?
Yeah.
That's a case of mind over matter.
Like Pete Weber said,
you know what I mean,
love
Pilk?
Me, all you can do is watch.
Pipe down, William. The adults are speaking. You know what that means, Pilk? Mind over matter in that situation?
Yeah. That if
Okay,
he just accepted not to hate you, then he wouldn't. But
you can't control what people think of you. I quit worrying about that years ago. Hello, everybody. If we have a therapy session between us, what were you saying, William? What craziness are you over there talking?
Just quoting
What is
Pete
this
Weber.
look you are wearing, by the way? This is a very grunge sort of thing. It's like grunge meets what's that Southern clothes brand?
I don't know. There's endless.
Southern Comfort.
Yeah, it's like grunge meets Southern Comfort with the hat.
Well, I'll take it as a compliment.
No, it's a unique look for you there. It's great to have William here, who I don't think works on the weekends, Pilk. Do I have that right? He's never around.
I know. He was supposed to work Sunday this past week, and they bumped the game up, so he got out of it. But we're working him this weekend coming up. We had our staff meeting today.
Oh. Well, let's start with a great weekend, obviously, for ECU athletics. We'll have baseball on the coaches show tonight, so we'll talk a lot of that. They took 2 out of 3 against George Mason, including splitting the opening day doubleheader. Softball won 2 in a row over the weekend against 22nd ranked Boston, who won 56 games last year in softball. Boston did, and returned a lot of players. That was in the Pirate Clash. By the way, Kendall Frost, the pitcher, the American pitcher of the week as a freshman. Did you get to see her pitch this weekend, Pilk?
I did, a little bit. Not as much as I wanted to due to some things being moved around, but I was sitting there with Chance Scott, which is one of Igo's interns, and we were at awe. I mean, she painted the corner on every single pitch. And I think firmly in that second game against BU, the one they played Saturday afternoon, she made one mistake. She paid for it with a solo shot to right center, but she threw 7 innings and threw one bad pitch the whole game. She's the real deal. Between her and Sean Jenkins, we got some freshman arms over there and over there at the Grady White Sports Complex.
Morgan Johnson, the honorable mention honoree for the American this week in softball. ECU women's basketball won their 4th game in a row against Charlotte in that all-time series, 63-45. They have a week off to get healthy. They'll be back at home Saturday against North Texas, a 3rd straight Saturday home game for them. And then how about ECU basketball? Mike Schwartz is going to join us on the program next segment telephonically. Pirates have won 3 in a row. They're right now in 6th place, a game out of being a top 4 seed, which means they'd get a double bye in the AAC tournament in Fort Worth. So they beat Charlotte by 16. That's the largest margin of victory against the 49ers ever for ECU. And they've also got 7 conference wins, which is the high water mark since joining the American. So they'll obviously have an excellent shot to break that. Pirates at Tulane Wednesday, a 7 o'clock airtime for a 7:30 start. We will not have a show on Tuesday. We'll be preempted by baseball. We're into that part of the season. And we will have coverage leading into Wednesday's game, we'll be on talking about it and get you ready for it right here at 5 o'clock. That'll be Wednesday. So no show tomorrow. This is if we're not under sheets of ice and can function. Somebody asked me today, they said, are you going to have David Sawyer on? And I said, what do you mean? And they said, because of the weather. And I looked at the weather, and they're calling for an appreciable amount of ice. Not snow, not rain, ice that could impact parts of our listening area. Like a half an inch of ice. You know what that means, Williams?
What does that mean?
It means there will likely be power outages.
Yeah, but when it comes to North Carolina,
And the
seeing
power
snow
went
is like
out.
Bigfoot. I don't believe it until I see it. Our
Okay.
weather changes so quickly.
Well, I'm just telling you what the weather was saying today, not the memes on the social medias, the actual weather saying prepare for some ice.
You know what I don't understand? How come every time it's going to snow and it starts snowing mid-afternoon, we have an away basketball game and none of these other bozos can work it, and I have to drive home in the snow before they've had any chance to attend to the roads at all? I was slipping and sliding coming out of the parking lot when they played Wichita State, and now I get stuck
Right.
driving home in ice on Wednesday because some people have to go help you see me with a remote, and then homeboy next to you has an exam the next day.
Philip lives like 2 minutes from the studio.
That is true. I do
Okay.
have 2 minutes, but my car
That's
is a
my
4-cylinder and is the worst car ever in snow. I used to have a 6-cylinder, and that
Well,
was a
don't
huge.
they have
There's no weight.
don't they have a truck?
I might drive the truck home. If it really
Don't they
is
have a
icy, I'm
truck?
gonna
Yeah.
text Dan if I can drive the truck home.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter what you're driving if there's ice on the road.
That's true. A hockey rink is a hockey rink. I mean, it's kind of hard to drive on it.
Yes. You need a Zamboni. But I would feel better about you in the truck than I would your sports car, your Maserati that you drive around.
I wish.
Philip Pilkington. Just money coming out of his ears. But I tell you, I was watching the game on so we did the women's game on Saturday. I was on that telecast and then went over to the control room and watched. They had the basketball game on for ECU and Charlotte, so we just ended up watching the game there. And I watched it with some of the principal television guys that are behind the scenes that did really great work this weekend to get all that stuff on ESPN Plus. And so we were on there, we were watching it, and obviously ECU was not getting any calls in Charlotte. Pilk, were you in the studio? You were, weren't you? I think
Yeah,
I
I
heard
was.
you after on the post game. So I don't know if you were able to, how much you were able to watch, but yeah, I mean, RJ got 2 quick fouls. CJ got a couple fouls. So they really played much of the first half without those two. And then thought it was interesting. Charlotte just shot the lights out, 60% in the first half. Now they were only up 7 at halftime. That's because they kind of got a gift bucket near the end of the half. But I mean, if you think about it, Charlotte played out of their gourd. We're at home, got a bunch of calls, and we're only up 7. So you had to feel good about where the Pirates were. Now there were naysayers, of course, because there always are. But you look at the reality of that situation, and Charlotte played probably their best half of basketball, if not this season, certainly in a long time. And you would expect it because Charlotte likes to beat ECU. And you came out, and the Pirates were a lot tougher. We'll ask Mike Schwartz what changed for ECU in the second half. I think it's a combination of ECU clearly played better, but I think they played a lot tougher, and they were determined to get the ball to the basket, and that set up some things for them on the perimeter, and they were making those shots. But I also think Charlotte came back to earth, and, all this stuff has a way usually of averaging out. You're not going to shoot 60% the entire game if you're rotten like the 49ers are. And them being in last place in the conference warms the cockles of my dark, cold heart. It's a rivalry. You got to treat it as such. So there. I like that they're in that. And I mean, really, they played it was their Super Bowl. Pilk, am I wrong on this? Tell me where I'm telling a lie.
No, you weren't. I mean, Darren and I talked about it at halftime. They were not going to keep shooting the way that they shot in the first half. They weren't going to do that in the second half. And as far as their Super Bowl, I think their Super Bowl was probably last year when ECU showed up and they were camping out for tickets like they were, in Krzyzewskiville. There were some open seats in the upper deck, but still the crowd was pretty ruckus. Student section was pretty full there behind the goal. If you're watching from the benches, it'd be over to the left of the benches. My dad sent me some pictures because they went. And upper deck, okay. But, yeah, this definitely was their Super Bowl because they know they're going to get waxed in baseball, and they know that football is going to go not their way again this year. So that was their one shot. Sorry, boys.
The police have just walked in. Did you see that?
I did not see the police walk in, but
Well, it's the highway patrol.
oh well.
Dang it, William.
They have arresting authority, though. I know, William. You better tighten up.
Yeah, gotta be on my best behavior.
You need to be. Well, I think that's a huge win. And the thing that, for the uninitiated, you're now a game out of being in the mix for the first, top 4 double bye. Because of a tie between Florida Atlantic and Tulane, you're sitting in 6th place officially, but you're a game out of 4th. Now, got to beat FAU and you play them again in the season finale. You won't get a tiebreaker there, but you don't want to be swept by them in the season series. But before you could even get there, you got Tulane twice, you got Charlotte again, and then UTSA this Sunday. I think UTSA will be tight again. Should be able to handle business with Charlotte at home, but 2 big games against Tulane, including Wednesday. Worst you got to get is a split out of that.
I think so.
Would love to get a sweep.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Look, they're a good basketball team. I think they're one of those teams in this conference where they really can beat the top dogs or the top dog, who I don't think's that good. We saw that this weekend when they lost to Wichita in overtime. But Tulane also very beatable. I think very at the level of East Carolina right now, where you feel like if you go out there and you play as a better team, you will be rewarded. But if they do not play good basketball against Tulane, they will lose. That is not a team that you can get away with playing poorly and come out victoriously as you would against a Charlotte or a Tulsa type. So, and it's the same thing with FAU. When you look at the rest of the schedule, you can look at it with a lot of optimism, but you also look at it as, hey, you got to play your game and play to your ability if you want to be successful, because other than maybe the game at home against Charlotte, it's the only one that maybe you don't have to be 100% at your best and can still win, because even UTSA, I don't think they're a bad basketball team by any means.
Well, they got guys that can score. Tulane's got a bunch of guys that can score. We'll talk to Coach Schwartz about that, but that's part of the deal there. So it was nice to see a victory. Nice to see is this something like the 6th or 7th time they've been down at halftime, Pilk, and won the game this season?
6 sounds right, but don't quote me. I'd have to text Grady to confirm. But
yeah. So I mean, that's a real good thing. And something that's positive. And, I wish they had the game at home on Saturday, but you get an extra day of rest. That's the trade-off. And hopefully Sunday folks will come out.
Well,
Hopefully
the good thing about Sunday, though, too, Patrick, is, when you look at the baseball schedule, Sunday is at Carolina. Not saying that no Pirate fans will go to Carolina. We always travel pretty good to the Bosch, but there's only so many tickets available. Whereas that Saturday game being in Durham, it's a little easier for people to travel on a Saturday. If you get back late Saturday night, it's not as big of a deal as getting back late back Sunday. And you're not having to worry about season ticket holders of the opposing team taking up 60 or 70% of those seats. I think more people from Greenville will travel to the Saturday game in Chapel Hill than will obviously play.
I mean, Durham's a 10,000-seat stadium. I think tickets are fairly expensive, but I mean,
Pirate fans, you could charge $1 million getting an ECU baseball game, and Pirate fans are going to find a way to pay it.
Well, be that as it may, you got more seats, you got more availability to get in the door and see that. Plus, there's no kind of telecast with that. It's just radio, which obviously we carry the games. We want people to listen to the games, but if you want to watch it with your own set of eyes, you'd have to be there in person. So. That's the sitch there. And, even with the Bosch situation, too, you can watch it on ACC Network Extra, but that's a deal where you got to have a cable or TV service kind of attached to that to be able to stream it on your ESPN app. So we'll see. Pilk, I know you were excited about the Daytona 500.
Yes, sir. Back to back, baby.
Is that a hat of the winner?
That is hat of the winner.
Is that your driver, as they say?
Yes, sir.
Oh, you've got the whole uniform on. Jeez,
Oh, yeah.
Louise.
Yeah, I showed up decked out today at NASCAR
Tell me you have the jacket that it looks like the team
No.
racing suit.
No,
Tell
I do
me you
not.
have the
I do not
come
have
on,
that.
Pilk, what kind of fan are you if you don't have that?
I do not have that.
I question his fandom, don't you? Is that really his driver?
No, my jacket, my casual jacket when it's in the 50s or even into the 30s is a Bruins jacket, and then if it's like snowing like crazy, I have a Panthers jacket that I have to wear when we play and it's 20 degrees.
Casual.
Yeah, but anyways,
Casual jacket.
No,
The
not a
NASCAR
casual.
jackets are incredibly cool.
They are cool.
NASCAR
buddy.
jackets are incredibly cool.
Yeah.
I do not
They
have
used to be really loud. Are they better than they used to be?
I think that they have just unique designs, and something about them just separates them from any other sports coat. Just a unique factor of them.
Do you have a NASCAR jacket?
I do not, because I don't believe that fits my, as you claimed, grunge style, but I think that they're still very unique and cool.
You wear
All right.
often enough, William. You wear cowboy boots, jeans, and like a Bush Light T-shirt or whatever enough that you could pull off a NASCAR jacket if you wanted. But the thing is, those things are expensive. And whereas William was texting me yesterday, was watching the race. I don't think William is an avid enough NASCAR fan to be dropping $120 on a NASCAR jacket.
Okay. Was that a good start, Pilkington, for the NASCAR season as a whole? That's always our thing we're lamenting. I know it was a good start for you as a fan.
Yeah.
But was it a good start for the series, which still has major problems? They're doing better, but still has major problems.
Other than Mother Nature roaring her evil head and, causing a multi-hour rain delay, yes. We were on that text last night, you, myself, and Scott Shook, and he was saying that this was the most intense racing he had seen down there that early in a while. And I was listening to the radio today with some of the guys just talking about how, normally they'll get 2 or 3 wide and then they'll chill out for a little while, or there'll be an early big wreck that scares everybody. I mean, it was 3 wide for the lead from lap 2 to lap 201 the whole time. And because of there being no early big wrecks, no one ever really got scared, and it allowed them to jockey for position the whole race. I think it was one of the better Daytona 500s of recent memory, one of the better NASCAR races of recent memory. And then, when the guys 1 through 6 take each other out on the last lap, that obviously creates for some drama. And if you're a neutral, hey, at least you got to see tight racing and big wrecks. There was not any really dry parts. There was no just follow the leader.
I saw it described Daytona as sloppy and wet, and I thought that was more Philip Pilk or Scott Shook. I stepped on the joke there, Pilk.
No, that was
sloppy and wet. That was
sloppy
Scott Shook
and wet.
Daytona.
Was not the racing. It was the a lot of people in the
Scott
stands
Shook.
and the
Yes.
Mother Nature.
All right, let's hit a break. Excited to have Mike Schwartz on with us when we come back. We'll talk about a big win for the Pirates on the road against Charlotte this weekend and get ready for the matchup against Tulane. And then we'll have Inside Pirate Athletics at the top of the hour here on 94.3 The Game and the ECU Sports Network. Lots to get into tonight. Congrats to the Pirates for a great weekend on the court and on the fields.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you farm to fork beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to fork beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
Living easy is the sound of children laughing as you make memories with neighbors and friends. It's the sound of nothing at all. It's the smell of the salt air. Hear the waters against the marsh grass. See the beauty of our coast. Bow Coast, located in Beaufort, North Carolina. Southern Living's best small town.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville. We've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked to order seafood, and homemade fixins, we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's, it's less.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human. About creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
Your roof is a vital part of protecting your home and family from dangerous storms and hurricanes. At Assist Roofing, we install and maintain metal roofing that provides precise protection. Add value to your home while lowering utility costs with a fortified roof to last a lifetime. With 0% financing, grants, and Energy Star Green Roofing tax credit available. Call us to schedule a free consultation so you can weather any storm with confidence.
Download the new IBX Media app now and get the show for your ears and eyes.
Doesn't it look great on me?
This is the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Coach Mike Schwartz with us on the show as we talk ECU. And the Pirates with a big victory, 3 in a row now for East Carolina as they're playing pretty well, knocking off Charlotte first time by that amount of points that they have beaten the 49ers, and the first time in a few years they've won in the Queen City. Mike Schwartz is the coach of the Pirates. Coach, nice win for your team, and I love the comments that this was a big deal and a win, if you will, for Eastern North Carolina and for the university.
Appreciate it, Patrick, and great to speak with you. And obviously, first and foremost, to get a conference win is really important. You and I have spoken many times about just conference wins, and then for it to be on the road, obviously, you know, those are extremely difficult. But this game, from a standpoint of an in-state rivalry game, and our guys knew it going in, this meant a lot more than just any player, a team, you know, even the basketball program. This is about city of Greenville, East Carolina University, the eastern part of the state. And I think that's what makes college athletics great. And our guys really took that to heart going into the game, and we're fortunate to be able to get the result Saturday.
You were down 6 at halftime. And, you know, the two things that I kind of looked at were the fact that both RJ and CJ had 2 fouls, so they had to sit RJ for a good amount of time. And then Charlotte was also shooting 60%. They were really, really shooting at a high percentage and making some threes. So when you talked to your guys at halftime, did you specifically address anything, or how did you approach them? What was the message at that juncture?
You know what, I thought, Patrick, the biggest thing as we were going into the half, the first thing we talked about was that we didn't think our offense was very physical in the first half. It was something that, whether it was cuts or physical screens or crashing the offensive glass, anything, you know, in the paint presence, we didn't think we had a lot of physicality. And then obviously RJ and CJ being in foul trouble could have contributed a little bit to that. So we did talk about that a lot at halftime. We really went into the game wanting to run in transition. That was something we spent 2 days on, and we really wanted to get downhill in transition. I thought we had a couple possessions of that in the first half, but we re-emphasized that in the second half in terms of at halftime to going into the second half. And then again, I thought just the physicality of getting to the paint, playing in the paint. Jordan Riley set the tone. Jay Woodard set the tone with that. CJ was more physical in the second half in the paint. We wanted to try and establish that. On the defensive end, we started off in the zone. They did hit a couple threes there. They're a tough team to guard with their movement. They're a tough team to guard because Rosado is so skilled as a passer, and he does things out of the high post, whether it's the zone or a great passer for them in their Princeton-style offense. So they got going, and they made 5 of their first 6 threes. The only caveat to that for us was that we wanted to limit the amount of 3 attempts that they took, and so they only got 6 off in the first half. But unfortunately for us, they did make 5 of them. And then the other thing that was really important that probably kept the game within a couple possessions, even with the foul trouble, Patrick, was that we kept them off the free throw line. That was a team that was top 5 in the country getting to the free throw line in terms of free throw rate and scoring there. And I think overall we did a good job defending and staying disciplined. That was what we really preached, was discipline versus all those cuts, off-ball cuts, drives. They get to the free throw line. They put you in long possessions. And so I thought that in the first half, they were 2 for 4, and for the game, they were 6 for 10. I thought that was a big piece of it.
Coach Mike Schwartz with us here. ECU will travel to Tulane coming up on Wednesday. Pirates will leave tomorrow for the Big Easy, and it is an ECU team right now that is 6th in the standings, and they are a game behind Tulane among one other FAU. So this is an important game and kind of an exciting thing to be talking about important games in February when it comes to East Carolina basketball. The paint leads to opportunities for 3, and you all delivered with a season high 13, 9 of those in the second half from three-point territory. So that obviously helped a lot too, Coach, Saturday.
Huge. And you and I have spoken many times, whether it's on the radio show or just in person talking pregame for the TV broadcast. Bottom line is this, is that three-point shot is so powerful right now on both sides of the ball, whether defending it or on offense. And when RJ has shot the ball the way he has the last 2 games has really been big. I mean, he makes 7 the other afternoon versus Charlotte, and then he hits 5 versus UAB earlier in the week on Tuesday night. One other thing that's really big for our team, and you said it, you hit it right on the head. When we can get to the paint and we can create, whether it's double teams or collapsing defense, we use the term gravity. When we can create gravity to the paint and we make those passes, we turned it over 10 times versus UAB. We didn't turn it over, but 8 times versus UTSA. And then I look at, this game for Charlotte 10 times. So we're taking care of the ball. We're getting the ball out of the gaps, out of the traps, out of the collapsing defense. Then you got to capitalize, Patrick. You got to capitalize by knocking in those high quality shots, those 3-point shots. And a big thing for us, PJ, is when we can have multiple guys make more than 1 3. It's a big thing for us. And versus UAB, RJ makes 5, Cam makes 2, and then the other one was made by Jan the other afternoon in Charlotte. Obviously RJ has a dynamic game shooting the ball, hitting 7, but Cam hits 2, and then we get multiple guys with 1. Jordan hits 1, CJ hits 1, Jan hits 1, and those are big. And when you can do that, you just said it, it just opens up the court because now the defense has to really be on edge for not only one shooter or a few guys that have thrown 1 in at a time. Now they know you got a few guys going, and it really allows the court to open up for different things.
Coach, RJ, it's been an interesting year for him, a lot of preseason expectations, maybe some pressures, some that he perhaps put on himself and maybe continues to, and that's part of the game, as we know. I think he's also had to figure out how to play with these guys, particularly Riley, who's a bookend to him in many ways, and then C.J. Walker, who I still think is a first-team all-conference guy, should be, with the way he's played. Maybe the best player in the conference, perhaps, right now is C.J.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think the way he's playing, the way all 3 of them are playing right now, I mean, Jordan's been so consistent all year. You look at here this recent stretch, and so has RJ and CJ in what they do. But you look at this recent stretch, obviously that CJ's on, the way he's playing, the way RJ's playing, like you said. And you know what? I mean, the truth about it is that all three of them have some similarities, albeit that they're on the court together. Guys that thrive in isolation situations, guys that thrive in the paint and in the mid-range. So, yeah, I think you're very accurate when you say that. I think all three guys learning to play with each other and understand, but there's a real selflessness about those three. They're always looking for each other throughout the game, the talk in the timeout about when someone has it going or maybe there's a matchup that we think is favorable. And all three guys are so vocal with that. I think when you look at RJ, I think you see RJ's progression over his career, and you look at what he's done from freshman to sophomore, sophomore to junior, and junior to this year. And it's as you said, I think he's still continuing to learn not only what he's doing with that big target on his back, which is what sports is about, as you alluded to, but also now he's doing it because C.J. Walker has a target on his back, and he's playing there, and how all of them can play together and make each other better. And I think we're seeing it a little bit right now, and I have said it that I thought in December we'd be better in January. And in January, I said I really, truly believe we'll be better in February. Mm-hmm. And I still think with CJ and those Jordan and RJ playing together, I think we have a chance to continue to grow. And that's what we're focused on. That's all we work on is getting better every day. That's where our mindset is. But I truly do believe we can still continue to play better and better basketball as we head towards March.
Well, it's exciting. You've got a tough assignment because all of them are tough in this conference, especially on the road, going to New Orleans. And you look at Tulane. They had a stretch where they had lost 5 in a row at one point. This is pre-conference, 6 out of 7, and everybody kind of thought, man, Tulane, what's wrong with them? But they have figured it out since right before they started conference play. And what is it that makes them so tough? They've got, that about a handful of guys at that 9-point and better range. It's kind of typical Tulane. It seems like when the Green Wave are going, they're hard to guard.
Yeah, absolutely right. And it's what you said, again, like us, a team that is getting better as the season's going. I mean, when you have so many new pieces, and particularly if the new pieces are being counted on as high-minute guys and high-production guys, as obviously our team is. When you look at our team and you see 2 of our 3 top scorers are new players into the program, it's the same for them. And you said it, they're very, very well balanced. I mean, when basically their whole starting lineup is right under 10 points a game. They're a very efficient offensive team that gets to the free throw line at a high rate. They pass the ball well. And they take care of the basketball. And again, it's the balance. And you said it, when they're going, they're very difficult to guard. Averaging over 80 plus in the games that they win. I mean, very, very good team and very good team at home. You look at the way they won the other night in terms of winning at the buzzer. So they're winning late games. They're winning in conference. They've had win streaks in conference. I just think there's a lot of similarity only from this standpoint that even though they went through that stretch, no different than we went through a stretch in December, I think teams are still figuring out. And I think you really see it across the country, Patrick. Teams that stay resilient and stay at it and can handle whether it's multiple game stretches, whether it's within a particular game, being up, being down. How resilient can a group of guys be? And I think Tulane has shown they're a very resilient team. I believe we're a very resilient team, the ability to handle that, whether it's multiple games or in-game or even possession by possession, to score within a game. And we know it's going to be a real challenge going to New Orleans because this team is playing very good basketball. Them, FAU, and others in this league are playing really good basketball right now. And to go on the road, a team that's right ahead of us in the standings, we know we're chasing them.
You have had some road wins, and look no further than winning at Wichita State, where Memphis lost on Sunday. So, there's never an easy outing. no matter where you go in the conference. I appreciate the time today. I got one more thing, sort of big picture, I wanted to ask you about, Coach, and that is, here the Pirates are, upper part of the league, and it is never, ever a situation where you're not talking to recruits in some way, shape, or form. When you talk to people about basketball, be it recruits, other coaches, are they noticing the success that the team has had this year?
I truly believe so, Patrick. I do, and you can feel it. I think it helps. We just were fortunate enough to win 3 games in a row, and all 3 were on national television on different partners on the ESPN channels.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think that was big. I think you guys, with the ESPN Plus broadcast and what goes on helps us so much. But yeah, I really do, especially coaches within the league, recruiting, the coaches you speak to in recruiting. We all know this, that the portal is a whole nother segment of recruiting that will come up in about a month. And that will be then, and we'll see where things are and how our season is able to hopefully help attract and get players, student athletes out of the portal to be excited about ECU. But I think when you look at this recent stretch and you look at where we are in the conference right now, it has, because we're still talking to high school coaches, junior college, you're networking just as far as recruiting moving forward. And people are excited when you're competing for seeding this time of year, when you're competing to see where can we be once to head to Fort Worth. Can we chase that top 4? Can we get in there? We have big games coming up. We have opportunities. And so that does help, but that UAB game, on national TV, everyone has so much respect for UAB and Anthony Kennedy and the UAB as a basketball program as a whole. And to do that on national TV and then, to bookend it with a road win, an exciting game in Texas versus UTSA, and then here this past Saturday, in-state rivalry game. I think this was a rivalry Saturday. It was a lot of rivals across the country playing. And so it was great to be a part of it and be on the right end of it. And I think winning always helps. And so it's an exciting time, and I think we're just trying to build and get better and hopefully capitalize on that in recruiting, as you mentioned.
It's not a rivalry till you win on the home floor, and you guys did. So I guess it's a rivalry now, right?
Well, you know what? Yeah, I'll tell you guys this. Aaron Fern is a great coach. He's a great man. Obviously, a ton of respect, and you guys have spoken with me enough. I respect coaches that do this and work hard at doing this, and programs that have had success. Charlotte is a successful basketball program. They've been to a Final Four. I know they have, they've had success in terms of the matchup and ECU going to Charlotte. But I've always said this, and I'll never shy away from it. I think rivalries and those kind of contests and those kind of battles year in and year out, home, road, for the fan bases, it's what makes college athletics and college basketball so special. And it should be a great rivalry game, ECU and Charlotte and other in-state schools. But that's a good one. They're in our conference, and I think it's exciting moving forward, and glad that we were able to get one this Saturday. But we know when they come back to town, we know exactly what it's going to be. It's going to be another war.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's just about 10 days or so. Hey, Coach, thanks a lot. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate you, Patrick. Thank you.
That's Mike Schwartz, and we are at time. We're going to send it back to the studio where Philip will give you an update and then wrap the program up. Top of the hour, it is Inside Pirate Athletics. We'll be back with you tomorrow in the morning for the Talk of the Town. We will not have a show tomorrow preempted by ECU baseball, but back with the PJ Show on Wednesday.
Thank you, P-Man. Starting in Pirate Athletics, it was a very busy weekend. Baseball took 2 out of 3 over George Mason. They will be back in action tomorrow when they travel out to Bowie's Creek to take on Campbell. You can hear it right here on 94.3 The Game at 4:45 for that just after 5 o'clock first pitch. Softball went 3-2 over the weekend, including a pair of wins over 22nd-ranked Boston University. It was a good weekend on the hard court as both the men's and women's team took down arch rival Charlotte. Men's did it 75-59. They'll be at Tulane on Wednesday. Women have the midweek off. They'll host North Texas on Saturday as they try and build off that 63-45 25 victory. My Joyner led the way with 14 points. Looking over at the Four Nations now for the NHL All-Star break. Canada knocked off Finland earlier today, 5-3. That means Canada will take on the United States Thursday night in the championship game inside the TD Garden. The U.S. team does play Sweden tonight in what has turned out to be a meaningless contest. The United States is a slight favorite in that game. Daytona 500, William Byron became the first driver since Denny Hamlin to win back-to-back. Hamlin did it in 2019 and 20. Byron went from 7th to 1st on the last lap and claimed his second Harley J. Earl Trophy. In Major League Baseball, Nick Pivetta, former Boston Red Sox, has signed with the San Diego Padres. He and the team finalized a deal earlier today worth $55 million that will have the 32-year-old there for the next 4 seasons. That'll do it for your 94.3 The Game Sports Flash Update and Pirate Report. We're going to take our final time out here on the Patrick Johnson Show. We'll be back to wrap it up right after this.
Hi, I'm D.R. Alligood.
And I'm his daughter, Jessica.
For 11 years, we have built quality driveways and parking lots for both your residential and commercial needs. We also offer free on-site quotes to have your custom driveways built the way you want.
252-946-1227.
Looking for a great deal on a new Nissan?
At Greenville Nissan, we've got a great selection of new Nissans for under $30,000.
The stylish Nissan Sentra, offering top-notch fuel economy. The Nissan Altima, known for its comfort and technology.
The Nissan Kicks, the perfect combination with its compact design and performance. The Nissan Versa, delivering incredible value without compromising on features. And don't forget the Nissan Rogue, an award winner for 10 years in a row. Drive it home just for $22 down and $349 a month.
Visit GreenvilleNissan.com today.
Greenville Nissan, where we drive to serve.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Hi, I'm D.R. Alligood.
And I'm his daughter, Jessica.
For 11 years, we have built quality driveways and parking lots for both your residential and commercial needs. We also offer free on-site quotes to have your custom driveways built the way you want.
252-946-1227. Storm season is approaching. North Carolina weather can damage your roof, and before long, a small leak can turn into a big problem. Your home is one of your biggest investments, so protect it with Wells Home Improvements.
We work with all insurance companies for a hassle-free roof installation experience. Call us today and get 10% off your roof installation when you mention this commercial.
252-227-8403 or visit us online at wellshomeimprovements.com. Wells Home Improvements. Local, honest, dependable.
Your confidence makes everything look good. You see the world in vivid color, not black and white. Swing through your neighborhood Fantastic Sam's Cut in Color. And let our experienced stylists take you from everyday to extraordinary.
Fantastic Sam's hair salons are locally owned and operated. Our full-service salons are conveniently located in Goldsboro, Kinston, Greenville, New Bern, Jacksonville, and Calabash. Stop in today at Fantastic Sam's, where the possibilities are endless.
Pirate fans, 2025 East Carolina football season tickets are on sale now and can be purchased for as little as $115. Head coach Blake Harrell wants you to be a part of his first full season as the Pirate coach as he builds momentum off of the 8-win season and the Military Bowl win over North Carolina State. Call 1-800-DIAL-ECU or go to ECUPirates.com today to get your 2025 season tickets.
We are riding shotgun with you on the drive home.
It's showtime.
This is the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Welcome into our final segment of the Patrick Johnson Show. Philip Pilkington here taking you the rest of the way home as Pete Man gets set for Inside Pirate Athletics, which will be right here on top of the hour as part of the ECU Sports Network. He will have Cliff Godwin on as well as a pair of Pirate baseball players. I am joined now by the first time on air from our new intern, Chris. Chris, welcome to the Patrick Johnson Show, and thanks for coming on. And by the way, just full disclosure, I threw Chris on last second, and he had 1 minute to prepare for himself being on. So sorry I did it to you last minute, bud.
Nah, thank you, Philip.
Hey, man, so this is like a bullpen deal. You didn't know you were going in, and we just threw you out there. So first off, Chris, where are you from, and what year are you at ECU?
I'm from Salisbury, North Carolina, and this is my sophomore year at ECU.
All right, so they're gonna crucify you when you answer this question, but I'm gonna make it anyways. What team did you grow up liking? Did you grow up in a Pirate family? They're gonna ask.
Unfortunately, I did not. Both of my parents went to Chapel Hill, so I grew up a UNC fan.
Yeah, we'll forgive you. It's okay. Hey, Dom was the same way. He grew up a Tar Heel as well. So, anyways, all right. Now we'll get to the little bit more fun side of things. Not that not getting to know you is not fun, but so opening weekend for the Pirates this past weekend. Obviously, the hitting struggled, but I thought freshman arms that got into the game and really some higher leverage situations, and they looked much better than I thought they were. Have you ever seen a staff this mature at this young of an age? Obviously, growing up a Carolina fan, you watched a lot of ACC baseball growing up.
Not in recent years, unfortunately. UNC has been very bad in the bullpen in recent years. It's been very inconsistent, and this year it seems like it's the most established bullpen we've had in years since they had Austin Love there. And the three freshman arms came in, no experience in college baseball, and they went out there and did their thing, and I was very surprised. Ryan Lynch impressed me the most. He had 7 strikeouts through 4 innings, so I was very impressed by him. And it's a very experienced bullpen, which is what worries me for the series this weekend.
Yeah, so, you mentioned that, and then obviously, East Carolina, same thing, a lot of good young arms. I thought there were a lot of guys thrown into, like Ian White, thrown into a tough situation there late. Both these teams, young, but mature beyond their years. You mentioned 3 freshmen started for Carolina this week. They've obviously got 2 guys coming off injuries. It's going to be tough to score runs this week coming up, but I think East Carolina has got to wake those bats up against Campbell. Campbell's obviously coming off a tough road trip. They got swept out at number 22, UC Santa Barbara. Interesting to see a team go all the way to the West Coast, especially this early. Just kind of what are your thoughts on that? It seems like, I know it's a cool series. Santa Barbara came out to Campbell last year, but East Carolina in past has struggled when they go to the West Coast. Seems like they've always kind of had travel issues coming back. Were you surprised to hear that Campbell was going that far west, to start the season for a whole weekend?
Yes, but unfortunately I feel like it's become kind of like a new normal now since the conference restructuring. The travel thing was obviously being an issue due to jet lag. They're not used to it. It's new to everybody now, especially in the ACC with Stanford and Cal being added. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes tomorrow with Campbell being jet lagged.
Yeah, they obviously, East Carolina, by the way, had their, had the extra day of rest due to the doubleheader we played Friday. Campbell did play normal series this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They flew back after last night's game. Monday's the academic day off for college baseball, so they're going to go straight into playing the Pirates tomorrow night. Like I said, that unless you want to pay, an arm and a leg for Flow Sports, got to tune in right here on 94.3 The Game. So, little bit more, I guess, getting into about you, Chris, since it's your first time on air. Obviously, you grew up a Carolina fan. What about pro sports? Who will you give us the inside scoop on? Obviously, the nice thing here, especially with the NFL, is we have a variety of different fandoms here in our Interbanks Media studios with Broncos, Vikings, Panthers, Browns. So we're pretty well-rounded. Who you like?
I grew up a big Tim Tebow fan, so I started off a Broncos, Jets fan, and then Tim Tebow kind of left the NFL, so I went with the hometown team. Unfortunately, they've disappointed me the past couple years, but I'm very confident in Bryce Young and how he looked at the end of the season, and I'm excited for this new season. Hopefully Canales can build a good wide receiver group for Bryce, maybe a little bit more of an O-line presence, and the defense has always been pretty good, so it'll be exciting to see what they can do this year also.
Well, I'm glad to see that I have someone else here with me who can be a Panthers fan. I mean, the good thing is, not that a lot of the guys that we have in the studio have been rolling in success of late either, so it's not like I've been feeling too bad. Of course, Dom's Vikings had a heck of a season. Let's talk a little bit about a guy who played for Dom's Vikings. What do you think this summer? Obviously, you know him because he played for our Panthers. What do you think happens to Sam Darnold? Is somebody going to pay him? Is he going to be a starter? I mean, I think somebody's got to give him a shot. There's a lot of these, bad teams that need quarterbacks, and I don't love the quarterbacks in this draft. Also, there's only 3 of them that'll probably be first-round picks. Do you think he's going to land at, a New England, Tennessee type team?
I think New York, the Jets, should probably pick him back up after the season he just had. Obviously, he failed there, but with Aaron Rodgers kind of on the decline, he'd be a good young quarterback for them to pick up and have for the next couple years again. Other than that, I don't really see anybody else trying to pick him up. Maybe the Raiders, but that's about it.
Gosh, the Raiders are a dumpster fire at quarterback. And the Raiders, I don't think they've had a good quarterback since Jim Plunkett. And I know that Rich Gannon had a hell of a season in 2002, but yeah. Anyways, what do you think about, what were your thoughts on the Jets, speaking of them, saying they're not going to run it back with Aaron? Do you think that's smart, or do you think he lands anywhere, or do you think he's done?
If I were him, I'd just retire. You know, you looked as bad as you did last season coming off that Achilles injury. I think it's time to call it.
No, I'm with you, man. I say play the child's game as long as you can play it. I don't know if he can play it anymore. It just wasn't. I don't know. I mean, I know it's tough being on a bad team, but at least, like, you know, when Favre went to Minnesota, they went to that NFC title game. That illegal contact they didn't call was a screw up. They probably should have had a chance to kick the game-winning field goal and go to a Super Bowl. And then, you know, he came back the next year and decided to play again, and it didn't go as he wanted. And a lot of people said, hey, Brett, why didn't you go out on top? And he said, well, for the rest of my life, I would have wondered what if I would have came back. And he goes, I was content. You know, we went 7-9 or whatever it was, 8-8, that they went there in that 2010 season, and it was kind of like a, hey, you know what, this is it. And when Week 17 rolled around, he could play his last game, kind of know what it was. So I kind of hope for Rodgers maybe he does go to like just some mediocre team and they can win 8 games, mentor a young guy. But still, I don't know if he's kind of a weirdo. I don't know if that's the guy you want mentoring. Like, I would much rather like an Andy Dalton type mentor than Rodgers.
Well, you know, he went on that little ayahuasca journey or whatever he called it, and he just kind of turned into this like weirdo spiritual guy. So I don't know if I'd want him to be a mentor. Obviously, it didn't really work well for Zach Wilson. So I think that's the proof in the pudding right there for any NFL team that thinks about picking him up.
Fair enough. All righty. Well, we've got just over a minute left, so I'm going to wrap it. So, Chris, thanks for introducing yourself to the IBX Media and Patrick Johnson Show listeners, and we'll look forward to having you on more in the coming future.
Thank you, Philip.
All righty. That was Chris, our new intern. So we always try and get the interns on. He's been here a few weeks, and we try and get him on as soon as we can. We have a little downtime. We did the same thing with William, I guess at this point last year. We had him come on talking about how bad his Browns were and how he probably should pick a new team. But, you know, not that Chris has had much better of life as a Panthers fan, but, you know, at least we've been to a Super Bowl. Anyways, that'll about do it for our Patrick Johnson Show. Once again, programming note, there is no PJ show tomorrow, preempted by baseball. So we'll be back Wednesday, just a 60-minute edition Wednesday because the basketball game is 7:30, so it's 7 o'clock airtime. We're not going to do 2 hours. At least I haven't been told we are. I would like to eat between, so I will vouch for us not to do 2 hours, full disclosure. So, yeah. That'll about wrap it up for our show. Stay tuned. Inside Pirate Athletics. After this, Pirate Baseball series victory. Big one coming up tomorrow against the Fighting Camels. They've struggled in Bowie's Creek. Can they bounce back? Can they finally win a game in Bowie's Creek? I need to look up. I should have had the stat in front of me the last time they did it. It has been a while, but hey, this there's a lot more depth in this bullpen for the Pirates than there has been in past years, and you need depth to win midweek games, especially this caliber. Seems like they always run with an opener, so we'll see who gets the ball started off. Have a great rest of your evening, Pirate Nation. Stay tuned. Inside Pirate Athletics right after this.